Welcome to this explainer. Normally an SEC S1 filing is just, well, it's a pretty dry financial disclosure you read right before a public offering. But this is entirely different. We're diving into SpaceX's 2026 S1 filing today, and I gotta tell you, it reads less like a spreadsheet and more like a massive technological roadmap for the future of human civilization. We are talking about the complete convergence of rockets, global internet, and artificial intelligence at a scale that's honestly kind of hard to wrap your head around. We're going to break down exactly how this company intends to literally build the infrastructure of the future.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because to really grasp the staggering numbers we're going to look at today, you have to understand the foundational philosophy driving them. Founder Elon Musk put it like this: you want to wake up in the morning and think the future is going to be great. And I can't think of anything more exciting than going out there and being among the stars. That quote right there shows you this isn't your average corporate document obsessing over next quarter's margins. It's a mission-driven engine. It's built on the premise that humanity needs a reason to be excited about tomorrow, and that becoming a spacefaring civilization is the ultimate way to ensure we don't just share the exact same fate as the dinosaurs.
And that deep ambition leads us straight to this massive concept outlined in their filing: becoming a Kardashev Type 2 civilization. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Kardashev scale, a Type 2 civilization is one that can harness the full energy output of its local star. So for us, the sun, it's just a staggering species-level scale, and I really want you to keep that in mind as we go through these numbers. Everything SpaceX is building across its three core pillars, space, connectivity, and AI, is ultimately a stepping stone toward capturing that limitless energy of our solar system to power our civilization's growth.
Section 1. Mastering access to space. Let's move to and see how this builds, because obviously, before you can build a city on Mars, you have to actually afford to get mass off the Earth. And their blistering cadence of innovation here is just wild. Back in 2008, they became the first private company to reach orbit with a liquid fuel rocket. By 2015, they achieved what a lot of experts thought was physically impossible: bringing an orbital-class booster back through the atmosphere and catching it to be reused. And now, fast forward to 2026, and they are leveraging that rock-solid engineering credibility to deploy gigawatt-scale AI compute infrastructure. They've established this incredible engineering loop that just constantly drives down costs while pushing up capabilities. Which brings us to the vehicle that makes all of this financially viable: Starship V3. This thing can deliver 100 metric tons to low Earth orbit. To put that into perspective, that is roughly the weight of a fully grown blue whale. And it does it with full rapid reusability. We're talking about turnaround times that look a lot more like commercial aviation than traditional spaceflight. Historically, putting a kilogram into space cost tens of thousands of dollars. With Starship, SpaceX is aiming to slash that historical average by 99%. That unlocks extreme economics. You simply cannot build heavy infrastructure in space if it costs $1 billion every time you launch. Starship is literally the delivery truck that makes the future possible.
Section 2. Connecting the entire planet.
So once you have the ultimate delivery truck, you need a payload that bridges the global digital divide. Take a second to process this number: 9,600. That is how many active low Earth orbit satellites Starlink is operating right now. As of early 2026, SpaceX operates about 75% of all active maneuverable satellites in orbit. It's just massive. And that sheer scale is currently powering fiber-like internet speeds for 10.3 million subscribers across 164 different countries and territories. They solved the insane technical challenges of phased array antennas and mass-producing satellites, and essentially became the largest internet provider from space in human history. But they didn't just stop at fixed satellite dishes on your roof. Their newest evolution is Starlink Mobile. They're literally erasing mobile dead zones globally through direct satellite-to-mobile connectivity. Let's do a quick Why This Matters check-in. This brings connectivity to 7.4 million unique devices, seamlessly supplementing terrestrial cell towers. Imagine just never losing your cell signal again, right? Whether you're hiking in some remote mountain range or dealing with a terrifying natural disaster where the local power grids have completely failed, it fundamentally changes daily life in disaster response right here on Earth. Section 3. The Artificial Intelligence Wildcard. Now, this third pillar is stunning, and it completely redefines the company's financial and technological trajectory. In early 2026, SpaceX formally merged with xAI, bringing the Grok frontier AI model entirely in-house. The S1 outlines the core philosophy behind Grok. It's built as a truth-seeking AI model, focused on rigorous scientific reasoning. The idea is that if you want to ultimately understand the universe and build a multiplanetary civilization, you need an AI that operates on objective reality, empirical data, and first principles. not just one that generates polite, human-pleasing text. But to train an AI to truly understand the world, it needs massive amounts of data. And that is where the X platform comes in as a giant real-time data engine for Grok. We are talking 1.3 billion supported active accounts, generating 350 million daily posts. Neutrally speaking, integrating this constant live stream of human discourse and breaking information gives Grok a totally unique structural advantage. It grounds the model's outputs in up-to-date knowledge and a wide diversity of viewpoints, giving it exceptional contextual awareness compared to models trained solely on static historical datasets. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer velocity of their infrastructure build-out. AI requires a mind-boggling amount of compute power. Well, SpaceX built Colossus and Colossus II, the world's largest gigawatt-scale AI training clusters, and they brought the first cluster online in just 122 days. The industry standard for a data center even a fraction of that size is usually around 2 years. It perfectly demonstrates their extreme vertical integration. They don't wait around for third-party contractors. They just apply that some rocket-building urgency to terrestrial data centers, driving down the total cost of AI compute.
And then, hidden in the S1 is this massive wait what pivot, $60 billion. That is the implied valuation option for SpaceX to potentially acquire a software company called Cursor. Cursor integrates AI directly into developer coding workflows. This is huge because it proves SpaceX isn't stopping at hardware and base models. They are aggressively moving into high-value AI applications. By owning the workflow where developers actually write software, they capture incredibly valuable interaction data to make their models even smarter, creating a brilliant self-reinforcing loop of intelligence. Section 4. The future is orbital AI.
Okay, so we've got rockets, satellite internet, and gigawatt-scale AI. Here is the massive aha moment where all three of those pillars perfectly converge. Right now on Earth, the rapid expansion of AI data centers is putting a severe, totally unsustainable strain on our terrestrial power grids. We literally cannot generate electricity fast enough to meet AI's demands. But in space, up there, you have near constant, uninterrupted, infinite solar energy. Without an atmosphere in the way or a day-night cycle in certain orbits, space-based solar arrays can generate more than 5 times the energy per unit area compared to down here. And that leads directly to this absolute sci-fi reality outlined in the filing, orbital AI compute. SpaceX plans to use Starship to launch massive, solar-powered data centers into sun-synchronous orbit as early as 2028. And because they already have Starlink's laser mesh network, they can beam all that processed data back down to Earth with incredibly low latency. They are actually solving Earth's AI energy crisis by moving the most power-hungry processing workloads off the planet entirely. It's just staggering to think about. To pull that off, though, you need highly specialized hardware. Enter the Terafab initiative. SpaceX partnered with Tesla and Intel with one very bold goal: produce 1 terawatt of compute hardware annually. That is an almost unfathomable amount of processing power. By manufacturing their own specialized chips, they are taking control of the physical stack all the way down to the silicon. This alleviates future chip shortages and ensures these custom processors can actually survive the harsh radiation and extreme thermal environments up in space.
Section 5. A $28 trillion bet. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why AI has suddenly become the vastly dominant piece of their economic future. Transitioning from science fiction back to raw financial machinery, SpaceX is targeting an estimated $28.5 trillion total addressable market. The breakdown is fascinating. Space, their foundational business, is a $370 billion market. Connectivity is $1.6 trillion. But AI is a staggering $26.5 trillion. The rockets and the satellites are now the highly advanced delivery and connectivity mechanisms they need to win the multi-trillion-dollar AI compute race. So how are they actually funding this? Let's walk through these staggering financial highlights. In just the first quarter of 2026, they pulled in nearly $4.7 billion in revenue. For the full year of 2025, they hit over $18.6 billion with incredibly healthy profit margins. The core takeaway here is that the space and connectivity segments are generating massive scale and cash flow. Starlink alone brought in over $11 billion in 2025. That operational success is the solid financial bedrock allowing them to place these massive bets on the future. But where is all that cash actually going? Well, in 2025, they spent $3.8 billion on space and $4.1 billion on connectivity. But they poured a massive $12.7 billion into AI. The newest segment is commanding by far the largest capital expenditure. It just completely proves their aggressive, all-in commitment to securing physical compute infrastructure and dominating the AI landscape before the constraints of Earth's power grid can slow down their competitors.
Now, of course, executing at this unprecedented scale carries massive, unique risks, and we have to be extremely realistic about them. If Starship development is delayed, that whole orbital AI plan completely stalls out. They face incredibly complex regulatory approvals from the FAA and the FCC. Then there's the ever-present physical risk of space debris wiping out parts of their multi-billion-dollar network. Plus, a lunar economy and orbital AI data centers are entirely unproven technologies that simply don't exist yet. Add in a high capital burn and heavy debt, and it's a very dangerous tightrope to walk if the market turns.
So the crucial point is this: SpaceX is no longer just a rocket company. They are building the neural network and the physical transport layer for the next era of human existence. They are attempting to solve Earth's energy constraints by putting our most advanced intelligence into orbit, fully powered by the sun. It is a bold, highly risky, and deeply fascinating vision of tomorrow. Which leaves us with one final provocative question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Looking at this staggering technological roadmap, is humanity truly ready to become an interplanetary AI-powered civilization?